Hello and welcome to Silent Creativa. I went to Amazon for some bigger dolls and then I stumbled across this 1 to 6 doll and I saw her a lot of times and was like, I want to try making something with her. There's one thing I don't really like, which is her quite big breast area. But the rest of it is quite okay. I paid round about 15 euros for her, what is quite the same amount you pay for a typical Barbie doll, sometimes more, sometimes less. And yeah, for a made to move Barbie, which has nearly the same articulation, I think you pay 25 euros, or at least that is what I saw. And so with 10 euros less, she is okay. And what surprised me the most was how well rooted she is. You have a lot of bold spots, yeah, but I bought some dolls that have just the outer hairline and nothing else. So that is quite okay. And for 15 euros, I think her hair is nicely rooted. I decided to give her a costume that I made last year when I started the whole doll repaint process. And yeah, for this doll, I never was able to give her fitting hair, and so I just used the outfit I already have. Let's start with cleaning off the face or getting rid of the original face. As usual, I used pure acetone for this, and yeah, I was not careful enough with it, so I touched the shoulder with a Q-tip where the acetone was on and melted it a little bit. So I think most of you who will watch this will already know about not getting plastic in touch with acetone. For the vinyl, it's quite okay, but for the doll body, it's usually not okay. So keep that in mind when you don't remove the hat for the repaint. After this, I washed her face and then sealed her or prepared her with 2 layers of Mr. Super Clear. And I just have to say, though it's summer and quite warm outside, it worked a lot better than on my last repaint. So I'm just thinking about preparing a lot of dolls in front of getting back to autumn and winter because yeah, it's so much easier to get the color on it when it's warm outside. This time I was a little bit smarter with my chalk pastels and mixed a color out of 4 different ones to match the skin color as close as possible, but being a lot darker. Because normally I use the chalk pastels straight from the bar, from the chalk pastel, you know what I mean. And either it turns out too dark or too light. And now with this tone, I'm quite okay. It could be a little bit darker, so I use sometimes a little bit of darker chalk pastels on top of it. But for the main part, I just use this for the shading now. And as most of the time the makeup is quite simple, I am trying to make a more avant-garde-like doll because I have the feeling my repaints are quite the same every time, and there is not much difference to it, so I try to experiment a little bit with different things in the future, I hope. We already noticed that making plans so far ahead isn't something that is very good for me. We still, all of us, wait for the How to Train Your Dragon repaint, which is in progress. But at the moment, I'm not so much in love with this project. I'm not sure what it exactly is, but I will finish it one day, I hope. For the details with the watercolor pencils, I used the Faber-Castell ones again and the Derwent ones. And yeah, after my comparing video, I was not so happy with the Faber-Castells, and this time they worked totally well, and nearly exactly the same like the Derwent ones. I'm still not sure if it's just the weather or what it is, but yeah. Anyway, maybe it's just luck. Though the repaint process itself is quite the same as usual, I want to talk about some things or ask you some things where I don't really know how to handle this. Um, Obviously, we should be a little bit more careful with our environment. So I want to try to do something too, and I don't want to get rid of all the plastic in my life because that would mean to stop repainting and say goodbye to a lot of creative stuff, and to be honest, that is not going to happen. But yeah, there are things I can do. I already buy pure acetone and refill the nail polish remover bottles that are made of plastic. Do not buy a plastic bottle every time. And I think I will use the last Q-tips I have and then just stop using them and replace them with some tissues and popsicle sticks or something like that, or wooden sticks. But do you have any idea what to do with the packaging, for example? A lot of the dolls I buy are in plastic bags, and I don't really know how to reuse them. So they will go into the trash, and that will not be the best. So if you have any idea, please tell me in the comments because I don't really know how. It's one thing to buy a lot of stuff in stores and not online, but for example, with the dolls, I just have the option to buy them online because in Germany we only have Barbie dolls and yeah, a small variety. And I already repainted most of the dolls we have, and that will be quite boring to just use Barbies or something like that. So if you have any idea, please tell me. I would be very interested in being a little bit more environment friendly. Let's get back to the doll. I decided to give this particular doll more of an expression than the other dolls I made so far. And that was quite tricky. I had to go over their eyes a lot of times, and that made the outlines of the eyes a little bit too big, but I'm quite okay with her. And then finally I gave her the last spray of MSC and removed the fabric I had wrapped around her hair. Yeah, and then it was time for braiding her hair. And that took me nearly 2 days. And it showed a lot of the bald head. So I took out a black marker and just, yeah, colored the head, and then I took out some super glue and just glued the braids on the top of the head over the bald spots. Normally I don't repaint dolls a second time so far, and that is why I'm quite okay with gluing the hair onto the head. And it was very necessary because the bald spots were just bothering me a lot. But after all, I think it went quite nice. Then it was time for my all-time favorite, gluing on the lashes. And I struggled a lot again. And maybe her hair will have lashes now, because some just went into oblivion. Maybe I will find some lashes one day on one of her braids. We will see. So with some struggles, I was finally able to give her some lashes and cut them to size. And then it was finally time to dress her. I made the lace part for or the lacing for the sleeve and things. I don't know how to call them in English. Off camera, and then just, yeah, put her into her clothing. And though this was, I think, the second outfit I made for a doll, it is quite messy inside, but you won't see it, so everything is fine. I wasn't too worried about changing anything, so I just reused it as it was. And in the end, it's fine, because you won't see the messy parts. So I'm okay with it. But just don't tell anyone. The thing that was worrying me the most were her boots. Because on the other doll, I just could remove the feet and stick them onto the legs. But on this one, I can't remove anything. So I tried to heat the plastic of the boots with the hairdryer, and it made it quite squishy. And for the first moment, I thought, oh yeah, wonderful, it's great, it will work. But then I thought about when I stick the foot into the boot, maybe the plastic will break. So that's nothing I want to have. Yeah, and then I took some tweezers and tried to remove the feet, which ended in breaking them off, and now she don't have feet anymore. And she won't be able to be repainted again anymore because the boots have to stay, and so yeah, we just leave her like this. And then I just finished off her hairdo and glazed her eyes, and then she was finally ready to take some pictures. And yeah, I decided to make some pictures of her and of some other dolls I had or I already made. Um, One is the centaur you maybe saw in another video, and one is a barbarian I made as the very first repaint I ever made. So I hope you enjoyed her or this video, and yeah, have a nice time, and we will see us some other time. And yeah, take care of yourself, and if you like this video, subscribe, share, all the stuff. And yeah, bye.